You let me know when you're ready. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regular meeting of Council number 4. In the absence of our mayor this evening, I will be chair for the meeting tonight. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The agenda is there before you. I'm wondering if I can get a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crawley. All those in favor? Aye. Contraminded? Motion is carried. As well, the minutes of the last meeting of March the 10th. Any errors or omissions in those minutes? No? Can I get a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by Councillor Windsor, seconded by Councillor King. All those in favor? Aye. Contraminded? Motion is carried to approve the minutes. Any new business arising from the minutes of the last meeting? No. Okay. There's no mayor's update because the mayor is not with us tonight. Correspondence, Madam CAO?
Has all been directed to the appropriate
Yeah.
department.
So just want to update everyone to let them know, the public know, that any correspondence that comes in either through info.ca, to a personal counselor, to all counselors, to any staff members, is sent to the CAO for review, and then it's distributed out accordingly to the committees that would be responsible for that particular, I guess, piece that they would be looking at. So up next is Planning and Development, and that will be Councillor King and Councillor Windsor.
Thank you, dear Deputy Mayor. Yes, our Planning and Development Committee had our meeting on April 1st, April Fool's Day, and all those in attendance was Councillor Windsor, our CEO, Marjorie Gibbons, Robert Stacey, Krista Turnbull, myself, and Mayor Crowley sent her regrets. We have quite a few motions this evening. It's not hard to tell that spring is in the air, although if you looked out the window, you wouldn't think of it. But there's a lot of housing developments now starting. People are getting out now and finally finding where their shed used to be, their fence used to be, and need repairs. So there's a whole list of different things that are active here in Holyrood right now, and that's what we want to see. We want to see lots of houses going up, lots of people moving in, people fixing up their properties and making everything look neat and tidy as it should be. And that, so, but before I get into the motions, if Councillor Windsor wants to add anything, he can do so.
I think well said, Councillor King. Like spring is in the air. People are getting excited about building. A lot of permits here. The other nice thing to see from the committee's perspective is that a lot of these files, almost all of these files, were in full compliance with our regulations. So I think that speaks to some of the education that's gone on, from council and staff outward into the community, having these things on our website. And when people are wanting to follow through with their application, contacting the town, by phone or email, and getting clarifications they need. So when it comes to our committee, we have a good, healthy discussion on it, but almost all cases we're seeing strong compliance with the regulations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. And the other thing I would like to add before I forget it is one of the things that makes Holyrood attractive, which I think it does. If you, I just browsed through some of the towns closest to us, and Paradise in particular, and I couldn't help but see one that was there, small lots in Paradise right now. Some of them are going as high as $200,000 for a lot, right? I mean, We only paid half of that for a house when we moved here, right? So, I mean, that's what's flushing people out of those places, because, you know, you're paying out $200,000 before you even buy a stick of 2x4. So imagine what your house is going to cost. So, yeah, so Holyrood is affordable, and people should come out here and live. Anyway, we'll get right on to the motions. The first one is permits. Be it resolved, the table and approve the attached permit list. 8 permits were issued from March the 5th to the 27th, 2016. Permit 03-0013-26 to permit 03-0016-26, and includes permits for garages, residential, general repairs, and home-based businesses. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Windsor. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And the next one is a residential. It's deemed zoned RMD. It's 203 Salmon Line. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Windsor. All those in favor? No contraminded. Motion is carried. You might as well stay up.
It's either stay up or sit down. Stay down. The next one is located at 2 Vitches Hill. It's residential RMD. Be it resolved to approve the application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Tilley. All those in favor? Aye.
And I'll note for all the council as well that there was this location had a previously approved demolition permit.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So it was moved and seconded. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
The next one is located at 189 to 191 Conception Bay Highway, is residential water, town water and sewer, RMD. And this one is being rescinded because the residents have decided that they want to go with the septic and their own private well.
Okay.
So, and I'll get into the next part after this. Be it resolved to rescind motion number 02-012-26, which was dated February 10th, 2026, at the meeting minutes, which approved the residential home with applicant connecting to the town's water and sewer. And they've rescinded that and they've changed their mind. Okay, so moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crawley. I'm just going to, I forgot to add any, if anyone wants to make any comments or questions? No? All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And the next one is the same location, location 189 to 191 Conception Bay Highway, is a residential well and septic, zoned RMD. Be it approved, be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations, with the installation of a well and septic. The property owner will be subject to an annual water and sewer fee as per section 131, 1 and 2 of the Towns and Local Service District Act, which states, in para number 1, a town served by water system or sewer system or a water and sewer system shall impose upon the owner of real property a water and sewer fee for services received or deemed to be received. And in para number 2, for the purpose of subsection 1, unless a town council by bylaw provides otherwise, when a sewer or water main runs along the land of any person, that person is deemed to receive these services, notwithstanding that the sewer or water mains are not physically connected by lateral lines to any resident, building, or other structures located on the land of that person. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Windsor. Any questions or comments?
Just a few comments, I guess, to expand on what Councillor King has described through the motion. Number one, I'll say, is that we have a safe and reliable water and sewer system infrastructure, right? A person makes a choice for personal reasons to not connect due to technical challenges, maybe grade on the land, lift stations, length of lines, these sorts of things. They all have technical challenges that come at a cost for that person. They may have personal reasons to just want to be off the system and have their own well and their own septic within their control. That's fine. They still pay for the service running by the door, right? Just want to explain that a little bit, just make sure everyone understands, and most importantly, that we do have safe, reliable water infrastructure, which we're constantly trying to improve.
Perfect.
Yeah. So people don't think,
Right.
oh, why isn't the person connecting? Is it bad?
It's a choice, and it could be
Choice,
other
that's all.
contributing factors there for them. Okay, perfect. So it's moved and seconded. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And the next one is located at 39 Kennedy's Lane. It's residential RMD. Be it resolved that the above applicant in principle or approved in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crawley. Any comments or questions? Excellent. All those in favor? Aye. Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And the next one, it's located at 58 Ridge Road, residential with an apartment. It's zoned RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Any questions or comments on that one? No. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And the next one, 60 Ridge Road. It's also residential with an apartment, RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crawley. Any comments or questions on that one? No. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And the next one, it is located Lot 1, 86 Conception Bay Highway. It is zoned, or proposed residential, zoned RSL, residential small lot. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Any questions or comments on that one? No. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried.
And last but not least, is also is located at this is Lot 2, and it's 86 Conception Bay Highway. It is proposed residential, zoned RSL, which is residential small lot. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Windsor. Any questions or comments on that one? No. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Windsor. That's a lot of lot of applications for bills. 8. Excellent, excellent. Perfect. Up next is recreation and community events, so that would be Councillor Crawley and Councillor Tilley.
Good evening, everyone. We didn't have a meeting this past month due to weather. During the Easter programming, we saw great participation across all of our programs. Our Easter egg hunt had a fantastic turnout with thousands of eggs scattered across the soccer field. Our Easter movie night also saw another strong crowd, with families enjoying Peter Rabbit too. In addition, our Easter camp is running at Holy Cross Elementary this week, with over 30 kids registered. Looking ahead to summer, preparations are well underway for Camp Ahoy, with registration opening online May 13th at 6 p.m. We will be sharing more details on the CBC soccer registration in the coming days. Our summer student job postings are now live, with applications closing Thursday, April 16th at 4 p.m. We would like to thank everyone who participated in our community center consultation on March 31st and took the time to complete the online survey. We received over 122 responses to our online survey. Your feedback is extremely valuable, and we continue planning a community gathering and multi-use space for residents. Councillor Tilley, is there anything that I've missed or that you would like to add? Okay.
Thanks, Councillor Crawley and Councillor Tilley. And once we get the feedback from that consultation, Council will receive a report on that. So we'll be looking forward to that for sure. Up next is Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Windsor. And sorry, I forgot to mention that Councillor Story is not with us this evening. She passes along her regrets. So Councillor Windsor.
Deputy Mayor, Chair, and Recreation, can you guys get the weather improved, please?
I'm going to talk about that because I'm the one who asked for snow again.
You did.
Yes,
You
don't
did.
ask.
So I'll pass along our update, Public Works and Infrastructure, on behalf of my colleagues. And as you mentioned, Councillor Story is not available this evening. Understand she's not well. Hope she gets well soon. We met on March 20th in person. Usually we meet virtually, but it was nice to change things. We're trying to do it more in person just to accommodate our schedules, and it's working so far. That was excellent. So myself, Councillor Story, were in attendance, as well as the Director of Public Works, Stacey, and the CAO, Gibbons. Unfortunately, Mayor Crawley was unable to attend and sent her regrets. So I'll give a little update. We had two motions, Madam Chair, that we'll get to. Number one is backhoe procurement. So staff presented the committee with the information from the bidders and provided a recommendation, which we accepted, and savings were identified from what we budgeted for this year, so that's positive. So we'll get to that motion shortly. The next thing we discussed was the caboose. Very preliminary discussions at this stage, premature to get into what we are planning or thinking about doing there, but we want to do something positive in that space. I'll leave it at that for now, but we'll come back around on that topic, no doubt. The next item we discussed is the equipment standing offer for emergency repair services. So again, staff presented the committee with the bids. We went through all that in fine detail, price per equipment and mobilization, demobilization costs and all that sort of thing, and accepted staff's recommendation, which will be the second of two motions here shortly. We also discussed an RFQ that's been posted to the town media for water line upgrades on two areas, Penny's Lane and Bennett's Road. And I got an update from the director actually today. Just wanted to have the latest and greatest information for the public meeting. We did receive 7 bids, so we'll be reviewing those closely at the next committee meeting, evaluate them, and then come back to you with a recommendation for motion and award. There's a topic that we discussed in regards to Brian's Road lift station, and we have to get that area surveyed. We'll leave that at that for now, but some work that needs to be done in this space for sure. Project updates. I'll give you those project updates and then we'll do the motions. So on the geotech study for the new water tank, that work is completed now and we're waiting on their report. And we may have already received the report since the committee meeting, possibly. Not sure on that. CAO, can you comment on that? Did we receive the report? Okay. Yeah, okay, great. So we'll review that at the next committee meeting and then pass along the recommendations to all the councillors. Wastewater treatment clean out. You'll be happy to hear that we did get all the final approvals from municipal affairs and environment. It's very complex, you know, and I'd give a shout out, I think, to the staff, like really, you know, being patient and sticking with it, you know, and I noticed we were all, you know, pushing to have that completed as soon as possible. And we hear you out there, everybody, we all want that done. Over 200 samples taken, you know, a lot of different things are in that, you know, the more than you would think or expect, that need to be handled in a safe and responsible manner, both for the personnel, the residents, and the environment, right? So anyway, it's all approved. Very good plan in place that was reviewed by the committee, the right people working on it, and we're hoping to finalize a schedule with the contractor. Tentative, I don't want to be premature, but you know, very soon it's going to be taken care of. We need to have a weather window. There's a traffic control plan, has to be coordinated, narrow space down there. A lot of equipment coming and going, want to keep everybody safe. And there'll be details to follow. And we'll post that to the social media ahead of time so people can be aware, mindful of what's happening, and stay away, basically, right? So that's great. On the water project, the well that was drilled was deemed to be viable, and CBCL is reported on that and recommending that we do explore another well in a different location. The first one they did is great and will be all we need to supplement the system, but the second well is recommended. You don't need to tie that in immediately, but that might be something that we consider in the future. So we're future-proofing, and as all the things that are approved here tonight, you're expanding the town, more people are tying into it, into future-proof the town resource, right? So great work on that. The festival grounds, I know we were talking about that, and the CAO provided the committee with an update and met with the consultant and the contractor, that's Mills and Wright and Wares, and laid down the law. So that's what we wanted to hear, and good job on that, and there has been movement happening, and I've been kind of keeping an eye on things too, and being sneaky, and Black and Mac have been there regularly, I noticed that, so whatever you did worked, so good job, and you know, it'll be ready for the spring, and our Director of Recreation will be excited to commission that in the appropriate way, all right? Okay, guys, so that's the update. Now, we'll do the motions. The backhoe acquisition, be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood purchased a 2026 John Deere 310P backhoe with a 4-year warranty costing $217,286.75 HST included. This item was identified in the 2026 budget as the town requires the equipment for snow clearing, ditching, water leaks, and other excavations as required. The committee released a request for quotes to 5. The wording there, I think, is a little typo.
Providers.
5 providers, and the successful bidder was Brent with the John Deere. The budget identified $233,000, so the town is technically saving $15,713.25.
Excellent.
Which will put to good use in other areas, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yep.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Windsor, seconded by Councillor Crawley. I don't think we need any more comments or if anyone wants to ask a
Let's
question.
place the order. And,
Yeah, let's
you know,
place the
give
order.
the staff
Absolutely.
the
All
tools
those in
for the job.
favor? Counter-minded? No. Motion is carried for that one.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Councillor King. The prices are escalating and everything that's going on now.
Go to
That
the store today and it's $1, you go back 15 minutes later because you forgot something and it's $1.50.
yeah. Yeah, let's get the orders in and
Yeah,
put the money to good
true.
use. Second motion is a standing offer for equipment for emergency services provisions required in water leak repairs and such. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood accepts a proposal for a 2026 standing offer from Buckles Contracting for heavy equipment for emergency response for use in water leaks, road construction, sewer issues, flood responses. The town issued a request for quotes to 5 construction companies. 3 responded, and of the 3 responses, Buckles held the most cost-effective hourly rate for equipment personnel. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Windsor, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Any other questions or
Well, I
comments
just want
on
to
that?
say, like, I
Yeah.
mean, they were, they were the most cost competitive, and not only that, the performance feedback, on buckles has always been strong. They're there when we need us,
Yes, because they
and
were the provider, the previous provider as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they get scored, and they have
Yeah.
a good report card,
Yeah.
and they've always been responsive and helpful for the town.
Always there
Yeah.
when the call is made, which is
Yeah.
great. That's what
Yeah.
we need, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
best price. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So it's moved and seconded. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried for that one.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Excellent. So now is my capacity. I have to pass the gavel on to Councillor Windsor in order for me to give the the economic development update. So the Economic Development Committee, we met on March the 30th with Mayor Crawley, CAO Marjorie Gibbons, and myself in attendance. We had a guest developer present an early stage concept for information purposes only during this meeting. So while the proposal remains still in the preliminary phase, it lacks the detailed specifications for us to bring it any, to move it forward. The intent was to introduce the concept to the town to assess its potential merit. Should a formal development application be submitted, of course, the appropriate committee and council will be engaged as part of the review process for that. So, business interest within the town continues to be strong, which is great news. And our CAO, she is actively providing guidance to these individuals on protocols related to the development applications. So keep the interest coming. Our partnership with MI, a Marine Institute, continues to progress in accordance with the MOU that we have, and we're still working on finalizing a date and time for a joint business session. We've been talking about that all winter long. We're waiting for spring to finally break, which it's not yet, but hopefully we'll anticipate scheduling that soon, after April for sure. Additionally, our CAO has applied, and I think that we mentioned this before, for $150,000 in federal funding to support research and development initiatives in the defense sector. So we've received a positive initial response from ACOA on that, and we're waiting to hear back from the province. So that's it for economic development. Any questions, comments?
No, I just have, I'm going to stay setting. Yeah, absolutely, because, I mean, if you watch the news now, I mean, just look at Goose Bay. There's $8 billion being invested into Goose Bay. There's more money being invested into Gander. Gagetown in New Brunswick just got another $1 billion up there. So there's money out there for defense-related projects and research. And like we were talking about before, the Marine Institute is probably located in one of the best places around to do anything related to the ocean and underwater technology, drones, you name it. I mean,
They would certainly be great partners for anyone that would come in to do anything like that here.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you've got a harbor there that's free of ice, it's calm, it's the perfect place to do any type of research related to the ocean, right? So it's there, and all somebody's got to do is come, set up shop, and start,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. You can pass that back to me now. I'll give it back to you again. I promise. We'll follow the agenda, but I'm up again for corporate services. But next up is public safety, Councillor Tilley and Councillor Crawley.
Well, I want to start off by just putting it on the record that thank you for Snowmageddon 2.0. I think we broke all records with snowfall this year, and I am extremely happy with that. However, on the note of public safety, you also, as Councillor King referred, you have to be cautious when you're out now due to the amount of snow we had and the amount of rain we've had recently, due to ditches that weren't ditches before, do the fences that used to be fences that are not anymore. And I think I counted 12 trees just today as I drove up through Holyrood that were uprooted and down. So again, you have to be very cautious of that. But I am very grateful for Snowmageddon 2.0. But I've had enough now. I'm ready for spring. Just want to put that on the records. And on the note of public safety, we didn't hold our meeting due to weather. It was one of those snowstorm days. But I will like to add in though that we do have our emergency preparedness plan that we keeps talking about so much. We do have that buttoned up. That is at its final draft stage now. It's been reviewed by the Public Safety Committee. It's been went over again. So the next step now is for it to be presented to council as a whole, and then once presented to council as a whole, it will be sent off to our government partners to have it reviewed as well and to be said it's accepted. And I just wanted to add it out there that it's going to be up and running and ready for when we do start into, I know no one wants me to say it, wildfire season, but it is a real thing that we learned last year, and that it will be up and running. And it's a very, in my profession, in my world, I try to keep the cinnamon of KISS. Keep it simple, silly. No, silly is not what people say, but keep it simple, silly is what I'm saying. We want to make this as simple as we can. We want to make it accessible for everybody and easy. That's why we spent so much time on this emergency plan. But other than that, is there anything, Councillor Crawley? No? Okay, and hopefully next time we'll be able to have a weather permitting meeting.
Thank you,
Well said.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Tilley. Any comments or questions for Councillor Tilley or Councillor Crawley? No? Okay. Next is communications. So Councillor King.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My cohort is missing in action tonight due to illness. The Communications Committee never met this month, but before I get into the motion, I just want to mention out there, just because it's on Facebook and social media and all these places, doesn't mean it's true, right? There's so much stuff out there now, and even on the social media sites that we have here in our own community, there's a lot of stuff there that people believe, because it's there, they believe it's gospel, right? Not to use a religious announcement here, but you need to check with the organization to make sure that it is true. Like, for example, the world is supposed to come to an end now in the next half an hour or so. It's probably not going to happen. If it does, then we'll have to cut the meeting a little shorter on that. But the thing is, don't believe everything you see on social media. And if you're trying to communicate with the people in this building, and you're trying to communicate with the councillors around this table, there is a process, right? And I know we've brought this up for the past 4 years now, that if you have a question, put it in there. Send your email to info@holyrood.ca, and it will be actioned,
Yep.
right? So that's the easiest way to do things. But throwing bait out there on social media doesn't get you very far. Actually, in fact, it doesn't get you anywhere other than the fact you're confusing people, you're putting out the wrong information, and you're just adding to the confusion probably that's already there in the first place. Okay, so I just want to say that before I do the motion. The motion is to accept committee reports. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood accept the committee updates and recommendations as presented in the committee reports provided by the various departments and made available to all councillors for consideration. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Any further discussion on that?
Very well said, Councillor King.
Okay, perfect.
Particularly in the social
Yes,
media forum.
absolutely, yeah. All those in favor? Contraminded? Motion is carried. So, I'm passing it back.
Corporate services and
Yes.
administration.
Yes, so the next report is for Corporate Services and Administration. So our committee, we met on April 3rd with Director Marie Searle, our CAO Marjorie Gibbons, and myself in attendance. The mayor was absent. All financial accounts were reviewed at this meeting. They were found to be accurate, properly documented, and in good order, with no questions or concerns identified. A departmental budget review was conducted with each department. Overall, expenditures are tracking appropriately for the first quarter, with most departments reporting usage below 25% of their annual budget. So that's great news. There is one exception, that's the Department of Environment, which is currently at 50% utilization. And the reason for that is that we made an early payment of the annual garbage contract. So let's get that paid so we don't incur any interest on that. So that brings that over that 25%. So that does not represent, of course, a budget overage, but rather a proactive and efficient financial management practice. So overall, when we're looking at all of the departments, the average percentage for 2026, where we are right now in the first quarter, is 22.98%. So we're well below where we should be, which is great, or we're as close as what we really need to be. We're not over. That's the main thing. So in that respect, I'd like to commend all the directors and our CAO for their diligence in managing their budgets effectively and maintaining strong fiscal discipline to get us there. Additionally, we were advised by Municipal Affairs that the municipality's gas tax funding allocation for 2026 has increased. So that's good news, but we need to do a motion to amend the 2026 budget, and I'll do that in a few minutes. So the breakdown of accounts receivables to date. So as of our meeting, we had received $970,941.68 of our current year's taxes. We had $83,796.23 prior year's taxes. So in percentages, we are looking at 23.44% of property tax for 2026, 18.58% of water and sewer, 15.43% of business tax, and 54.28% of fire taxes. So overall, we're in a really good financial position. So I do have some motions, unless anyone has any questions or comments, or. So first and foremost, it's our accounts. Be it resolved, those accounts tabled in the amount of $404,353.63. Those are check numbers D5446 to D5497 and 47999 to 48093 be approved for payment from the general account. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Is there a seconder? Councillor Crawley. Further discussion?
No.
All those in favour? Aye. Councillor United. Motion is carried.
And we have a bank book balance. It's a little low, but we did a lot of payments. $1,263.89 for that. The next is the budget revision for the gas tax increase. So the town has been notified by Municipal Affairs that there is an increase in our gas tax in the amount of $15,376, which we now have added to the overall budget. This is project-driven money, so it is assigned to fiscal services. When we have additional monies, we are required to adjust our budget submission through a new motion. So therefore, be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood submit its adjusted budget for 2026, showing a balanced budget of $5,220,745.25. So moved.
So moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Is there a seconder? Councillor King. Further discussion? All those in favour? Aye.
Aye.
Councillor United. Motion is carried.
Perfect. Okay. So the next part of the motions that I have for tonight are related to code of conduct complaints that we have received. So the town has received 4 formal complaints of code of conduct breaches. And to ensure due diligence, the town sought legal assistance regarding the complaints. The town followed the appropriate process according to the municipal code of conduct and has reached a decision. On March 30th, council held a privileged meeting with legal, and a decision of council was solidified for all 4. Okay. So the first one, whereas a complaint pursuant to the code of conduct on December 18th, 2025, alleging a breach of the code by 2 staff members in accordance with their response to a residential inquiry referred to as complaint number 1. And whereas a report was completed and was discussed at a privileged meeting of council on March 30th, 2026. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood has determined no breach of the code of conduct was found against those names, and complaint number 1 is dismissed. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Second to the motion. Councillor Tilley. Further discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Contrary-minded? None. Motion is carried.
For the second one, whereas a complaint pursuant to the Code of Conduct on January 1st, 2026, alleging a breach of the code by 2 staff members in accordance with their duties referred to as complaint number 2. And whereas a report was completed and discussed at a privileged meeting of council on March 30th, 2026, be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood has determined no breach of the Code of Conduct was found against those named, and complaint number 2 is dismissed. So moved.
Motion's moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Is there a second to the motion? Councillor Crawley. For discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Contrary-minded? None. Motion's carried.
And the third one, whereas a complaint pursuant to the Code of Conduct on March the 6th, 2026, alleging a breach of the code by 2 staff members and a council member in accordance with their response to a residential inquiry referred to as complaint number 3. And whereas a report was completed and discussed at a privileged meeting of council on March 30th, 2026, be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood has determined no breach of the Code of Conduct was found against those named, and complaint number 3 is dismissed. So moved.
Motion's moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Is there a seconder to the motion? Councillor Bruce King. For discussion? None. All those in favour? Aye. Contrary-minded? There's none, and motion is carried.
And the fourth one, whereas a complaint pursuant to the Code of Conduct on March 12th, 2026, alleging a breach of the code by 2 staff members and a council member in accordance with their response to a residential inquiry referred to as complaint number 4. And whereas a report was completed and discussed at a privileged meeting of council on March 30th, 2026, be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood has determined no breach of the Code of Conduct was found against those named, and complaint number 4 is dismissed. So moved.
Motion's moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Is there a seconder to the motion? Councillor Tilley. For discussion? No. All those in favour? Aye. Contrary-minded? There's none, and the motion is carried. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Woodford.
Thank you, Councillor.
I'll return you the gavel.
So we're almost done, folks. New business. So let's go around the table as we normally do. Councillor Crawley, do you have anything? Councillor King? Yeah, right. Come on. Yeah. Councillor King, go ahead.
No, I just got one, that's it. And I think it's appropriate for what's going on in the world this very minute, and it has to do with kids. And a lot of the times, especially with the military, April has been deemed the month of the military child, because a lot of the times when you as an adult is posted somewhere, people seem to forget about the kids and how it affects them, because all of a sudden you're uprooted from school, you're uprooted from your friends, you're uprooted from everything that you used to know, and then you're plopped somewhere that you don't know anybody or anything else, and it's very hard on the kids, both psychologically and everything. And I mean, and then when you throw in, deployments of your it could be your father, it could be your mother today. I mean, the females in the military now are posted as just as much now, and probably in some cases more than what the men are, right? So it's a very stressful time, because you can imagine people in this room right now that have kids, right? They were probably, and the same as my son. My son was born here in Holyrood. He has spent his entire life in Holyrood, so he doesn't know any other place in the country other than Holyrood. And speaking for myself, we were very lucky, because I was at the tail end of my military career when Adam came along. But if Adam was born when I first joined, Adam would have moved 5 times. I sat down today, and he would have moved to 5 different schools, and he would have been home alone with his mother for 4 different deployments. And it's very hard on kids today. It's psychologically on kids, especially when we were in Afghanistan, and a lot of these, these ramp ceremonies and stuff like that. There's kids today that are still going to psychiatrists because of what happened or what they've seen, even though their parents may have come home and everything was fine, but it had such a psychological effect on them, it was beyond. So I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that the month of April is deemed as a month of the military child. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Tilley?
I also wanted to add on a note too that the month of April is also, there's a week in there that's Volunteer Appreciation Week. I just want to highlight the volunteers in our community and in every community across the province. They're what I call as the kind of forgotten heroes that are there when anything goes wrong, or they're also there to help the community. They're there to help with libraries, they're there to help with programs throughout the community. So I guess my thing is I just wanted to do a big shout out to all the volunteers that are out there. Doesn't matter if you say I'm only doing this, you're still a major part of the community, and I wanted to say personally thank you.
Excellent. Councillor Windsor?
Very well said, guys. I agree. Very thoughtful sentiments by Councillor King, Councillor Tilley. I need to comment on the previous items that were raised. I had the gavel, so I could not engage
Understand.
in the discussion as per rules of decorum. But I just wanted to say I want to give a vote of confidence to staff. I think that's really important, and I think staff's doing a great job. And at the committee level, what I've seen for the last 5 years, very detailed files are kept. All matters of communication are passed along to us as committee members and councillors. Very transparent, very professional. They follow the process. Well done. And kudos to you, Deputy Mayor, in participating, leading a lot of these investigations. I think you did a very good job, highly professional, attention to detail. We engaged the right professional people for guidance and advice, whether that be legal and the province, officials at the municipal affairs. So everything was done very professionally and very appropriately. So just thought that was exceptional. However, what I want to say is the public need to understand that there is a process and a way to appeal or communicate with the town and the staff if there is a decision that you disagree with, or you feel there may have been an oversight or mistake made, the code of conduct complaints not the appropriate channel for any of that. And that's all I had to say.
Well said. Well said. Okay. Anyone else? No? Good? All right. So, the date of the next meeting is May the 5th at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Councillor Tilly, seconded by Councillor King. All those in favor? Meeting is adjourned.